Hi everyone, welcome to ZyNerd's NEET SS Information Series. All India Round 1 Super Specialty provisional results have been declared and we are expecting the final results anytime today. In this video, we'll take you through a few pointers for All India Round 1 joining. The first one to do once the final results are published is to download the allotment letter. The allotment letter will be available an hour or two after the max within 2 hours after the final results are published. The allotment letter will have the institute details, the course details, and possibly the nodal officer detail of the institute, the details of the nodal officer of the institute as well, with whom you can connect with in case any information is required before you travel for admission. Have a look at this allotment letter, and then for those candidates for whom the institute names were not available in full in the results PDF, like Apollo Hospitals, Care Hospital or Fortis Hospital, you will have the complete institute details in your allotment letter. And after getting your allotment letter, you can check with the institute on certain information before you travel. One is on the holidays, any holidays during the joining period, and second is on the number of days taken for admission. This will help you plan travel. Usually it takes only 1 day for admission if you have all the documents and all information available. Max it may take 2 days, but still check with the institute on the number of days taken on holidays so that you can plan travel in case you're planning to come back after and not commence course immediately after admission. Fee payment, check with the institute on the mode of fee payment. Most deemed institutes accept DD, RTGS or NEFT, and most institutes deemed or otherwise accept RTGS or NEFT. In certain institutes, government institutes alone, cash payment is still followed. You may have to pay through a challan at the home bank branch. So just be ready for this and plan for this based on whatever mode of payment is prescribed. The course commencement date, still there is no clarity on the course commencement date as far as we are concerned. There's no published date available in the NMC portal. I'm not sure whether institutes have already been intimated about this. If not, there'll be no clarity at their end too. So in this case, let's say the course commencement date is finally published and it is, let's say, 2 days from the joining period or during the joining period. Even then, the institutes can be flexible and allow you to join the course after the round 2 results are published if you're looking for upgradation. And if you want to come back for any other reason too, they can be flexible and allow you to join at a later date after round 2. So just check with the institute on this part, and if you wish to commence your course after the round 2 joining date, they should be flexible. Usually most of the institutes are flexible. Very rarely some institute will insist that you join on the date of course commencement as prescribed by NMC if you have joined in round 1. So this clarity we'll get only after NMC notifies, or if not, most of them would join after round 2. And before travel, check with the institute on the complete fee that needs to be paid. This will be the tuition fee for the year. The full first year tuition fee will need to be paid. Most institutes will insist on this. In addition to that, you will have hostel charges, mess charges, security deposits for library, etc. So just check on the total fee that needs to be paid for round 1 admission. And for MDMS, very clear, there is no adjustment of for all for MDMS and DNB both. There is no adjustment of security deposit against the 2 lakhs paid. So irrespective of whether you join MDMS or DNB, your entire fee needs to be paid either to the institute or to NB. So don't expect that the security deposit will be adjusted and plan so. Your fee payment for the first year admission is between you and the institute, and the 2 lakhs paid during registration is between you and MCC. MCC will refund this 2 lakhs directly into your bank account once your admissions are over if you have joined the allotted institute. And as far as DNB allotments are concerned, the payment is to be done directly to NB. 1.475 lakhs is to be paid to NB. The link for the payment should be available in your allotment letter. You will log into the link and you will be able to pay through a net banking, credit card or debit card, and you will get the payment receipt generated, and this payment receipt is to be submitted at the institute before admissions. So ensure that you make the payment to NB. This can be done at any location, need not necessarily but at the institute. It is just online payment like any other payment that you do to Amazon, Swiggy, etc. So you'll be able to do that. One suggestion here: don't go for the NEFT option for DNB seats. There is a problem in generating the challan, and there are issues in some institutes not accepting without a challan. So try to make the payment through either credit card, debit card, or through net banking login. Don't do an NEFT for NBE payments for DNB alone. And validate bank account information that is shared. Communicate only through official email IDs of the institutes. There have been scams last year as far as PG is concerned. Some candidates have been asked to make payments to a different bank account, and then there have been issues. So ensure that you communicate only through official emails of the institute, or check in the institute information website. Most of the deemed institute especially will have the bank account details or the details of NEFT or RTGS transfer. The documents that are required for physical reporting have already been shared in the MCC counseling scheme. This is a list of documents that are required for joining. Beyond this, the institute may require 1 or 2 documents. We'll come to that at a later point in time, but these documents are essential, and ensure that you have these documents in original. And what we suggest is that you take enough photocopies of these documents, because the originals are going to be with the institute. Especially for MDMS, they will be with the institute till the end of your counseling period, at least till the end of your course period for the next 3 years. So take enough photocopies, and it is advisable to scan and save them in a drive, or send it across to your email, to your email to self after scanning and saving them. This will help you in retrieving them at any point in time, and it may be very difficult to go back to the office to get your originals for another photocopy. And in case your admit card is not available, write to NBE through the NBE communications portal. The link is available in the description. NBE will respond back within a day or 2 with your admit card. So this should not be a problem. Even if you don't have your admit card, there's no necessity to panic. Just write to NBE through the communication portal, and you should be able to get your admit card before the joining deadline, and through a link to your email ID. Before travel, also check for bond and additional certificates required. Some institute may insist that you submit the bond before All India Round 1. In case the bond requires surety, especially from your parents or somebody who is at your place, then you may need to get the bond done at your place, get the signature, and travel if they are not traveling with you. So just ensure that this is completed before you travel. There will be no penalty applicable for upgradations and resignations. Bond penalty is not applicable for round 2 upgradations. MBBS mark sheets may be required. Migration certificates and NOC may be required. Migration certificate is required if your PG university is different from your super specialty university. So in that case, a migration certificate from the PG university is required for now. Just try to get it from your university. But before that, check with the institute, whether with your SS institute, on whether it is mandated now, or you can go back and get your migration certificate later. It is always advisable to get it now, but if you don't have enough time, the institute may be flexible about this part. The NOC for medical council registration, in case you're moving to a different state for your super specialty, then you may need to get an NOC from your current medical council registered state, current state medical council, for registering in the super specialty medical council. This can usually be done at a later point in time, and institutes will give you time, but you can just check with the institute on whether this is required now. In certain cases where your home location is at a distance and you don't intend to travel but join the institute immediately if possible, it is advisable to get migration and NOC now itself, provided you may not move to a different, you're not planning to upgrade to a different institute in round 2. So just if not, then wait for round 2 counseling to be over and finally get your migration and no objection certificates from your state medical council and migration certificate from your university at a later point in time. Additional certificates are not mandatory. Some institutes may ask for domicile certificate, or community certificates which are not relevant at all, you can straight away tell them that it is not mandatory and it is not required to be submitted. There may be some other certificates which you may have, which the institutes may request, like contact certificate or bona fide certificate, etc., which you would have from your previous institutes. You can take them along with you if the institute asks for them. While joining, there'll be two options for you. One, to provide yes for willingness for upgradation or no for willingness for upgradation. Only if you provide yes for willingness for upgradation, you will be able to fill in choices in All India ISS round 2. So if you provide no for willingness for upgradation, even if you change your mind once it is entered in the system, you will not be eligible for round 2 or any other round, even for mop-up round. So just ensure that you will not be able to resign your seat after All India round 2 in case you mention no for willingness for upgradation. So it is always advisable to keep your options open by mentioning yes for willingness for upgradation. In case you don't want to participate for All India round 2 at a later point in time, in that case, you just don't need to fill your choices. Your round 1 seat will be retained. So we suggest that you provide yes for willingness for upgradation. This needs to be entered by the institute at the time of admissions, and when the admission letter is generated, it will say willingness for upgradation yes. Check this part so that your upgradation possibility exists during round 2. This is the most important part. Verify your admission letter and get a copy of your admission letter at the institute after joining. So once you submit your certificates and your details are entered into the MCC information portal, intra MCC portal by the institute, and at the end of it, they will submit all the details, your willingness for upgradation, etc., and then provide you an admission letter. They'll generate an admission letter from the MCC portal and provide you an admission letter, which would have the details like the center of admission, where you got admitted, the time of admission, your photograph, your allotment details, and the details of whether you are willing for upgradation, etc. Till this admission letter is generated from MCC portal, your admissions are not complete. What happens in certain institutes, like especially in some DNB institutes which are new, which are accredited for the first time, is that they will get all your letters. They will give you a letter signed by the institute head that you have been admitted, and they would miss this entire process or enter the process, enter some details, but would not complete this entire process, which would mean you are not admitted and you will have issues and you will go into All India round 2 without a seat in hand and losing 2 lakh security deposit. Even if they tell you that we have already done it in the portal, but they have not given you the admission letter, it is your right to get the admission letter and ensure that you get the admission letter. We have emphasized so much on this just for one reason. Candidates have lost seats in NEET PG, especially in DNB institutes, because the admission letter was not generated, even though because they did not insist on getting the admission letter on hand and believe that the institute would do it before the deadline. So again, emphasis, get your admission letter, check it, and only after checking it, your admission is, after you check it and ensure that all the details are available, your admission, you can consider that your admission is confirmed. And during joining, in case you're going to upgrade to another institute in round 2, check on the resignation process. You may have to go back to your round 1 institute for completing the resignation process, getting your original certificates, etc. And anyways, a relieving letter is to be generated by the round 1 admission institute in case you upgrade to your round 2 institute. So you may have to go back. So check with the institute on how many days it would take for resignation, and especially on what is a fee refund and what is a deduction. This is relevant more for deemed institutes. In case the fee refund takes, let's say, 14 days if you upgrade, then in that case, you may need to arrange for plan for paying the fee in the round 2 institute again. There is no transfer between round 1 and round 2 institutes. So you will need to plan for paying the fee again in round 2 institutes if the round 1 institute fee is refunded after a delay. So just check on these while you join the round 1 institutes, especially for deemed. Joining, also get references. If you still have not evaluated the institutes, happens for a few candidates who have taken DNB institutes based on some feedbacks from some candidate, but they may not have evaluated it directly. Try to source info at the institute. If possible, visit the department advisable always, and get contacts or references from the college or office administration if you're planning to come back and then travel after a week or so that you can connect with them for any information that is required. So on the migration certificates, eligibility certificates, and the NOC, what is required from DNB to DNB, from DNB to MDMS, DNB PG to MDMS SS, MDMS SS to MDMS SS, and MDMS SS to DNB SS. We will have a separate video shared at a later point in time, probably by today, and you can have a look at it. In case this information is useful, kindly share in other groups and subscribe to our channel. Thank you.